JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, one dead in Bath, Westmoreland. The Westmoreland police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of a body with multiple gunshot wounds to the chest and right side in a green Toyota Vauxhall in the Bath community of the parish yesterday morning. The deceased has been identified as 31-year-old Dervion Morris of Hatfield, Westmoreland, who was said to be unemployed. Investigators believe that the victim might have been attacked by two armed men. Bullet casings were found inside the vehicle. Meanwhile, addressing the recent monthly general meeting of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, Deputy Superintendent Adrian Hamilton, head of operations for the Westmoreland Police, reported that for the period January to October this year, there was a 37% decline in murders in the parish when compared to the corresponding period last year. He added, however, that while the reduction was welcome, he takes no comfort in the news, for there is a tradition based on the history in the parish for murders to increase during the month of November. Jamaican mechanic dies 10 days after being punched by a man in the U.S. A Jamaican-born man who was on life support in a United States hospital died on Tuesday, 10 days after he was punched in the face by a man and hit his head on a sidewalk. Lenford Johnson, a 62-year-old auto mechanic, was born and raised in St. Anne, Jamaica, before migrating to the U.S. some 20 years ago. According to the New York Daily News, Johnson, whose nickname was Bagger, was punched by a man at the command of two others during a dispute. Johnson then hit his head on the sidewalk outside the Caribbean American Entertainment Center on Nonstrand Avenue near Tilden Avenue in East Flatbush about 3 a.m. on November 7. The man had earlier accused the Jamaican of allegedly making a sly remark at his sister inside a bar. Johnson was assisted to the hospital where he died after 10 days on life support. The police have not arrested anyone in relation to the incident. In an interview with the New York Daily News, Johnson's stepdaughter, Tracy Lewin, said doctors gave her stepfather a 1% chance of surviving and he had bleeding in his brain. According to reports, Johnson enjoyed cooking for his friends as he listened to reggae music at his home. He loved to feed people. We have a backyard and that's everyone's spot, the stepdaughter told reporters. He was frying fish, making festival before he even went to the bar, she added. UK deportees to arrive in December. Jamaica will, in a matter of weeks, welcome more deported migrants from the United Kingdom, UK, even as lobbyists attempt to put a halt to the plans. Upwards of 20 persons are being readied by the Home Office to be deported, but the plans are already facing a backlash, with a number of UK-based action groups preparing to protest the planned mass deportation. A source within the Ministry of National Security confirmed on Wednesday that the flight is to take place in the first half of December, but was unable to state how many persons will be deported. It is believed that several of the people to be deported had a stay granted at the last minute from a charter flight earlier this year. It could not be ascertained the nature of crimes for which they are being deported, except that they have served time in British prisons. Windrush National Organization, WNO UK Chairman Dr. Desmond Jadot said his group was concerned over the deportation flight scheduled during the height of a newly deadly wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. Jadot said the Home Office is yet to state how it will act on recommendations contained in the Wendy Williams report. The report identifies the organizational factors in the Home Office that created the environment that fostered mistakes, including a culture of disbelief and carelessness when dealing with applications, made worse by the status of the Windrush generation who were failed when they needed help the most. Despite the ills of the past and the criticisms contained in the Wendy Williams report, for which they have issued an action plan, no tangible action has been taken, yet they persist in deportations of this nature despite getting it wrong in the past, Jadot said. Furthermore, he said, as was the case with a flight in February, the planned removal will also affect Windrush engagement, as those without status will be hesitant in coming forward. In February, 17 deportees landed at the Norman Manley International Airport, but now with increased COVID-19 cases and the virus now well into the community spread phase, there is serious concern for the returnees, some of whom might be homeless or have tenuous family ties. We're very concerned because we are aware that once landed, too many of these people have no family or friends returning to, said Jadot. It does beg the question whether or not the Home Office really committed to righting the wrongs which it has committed, particularly to Jamaicans, because families are on tenterhooks and in fear for the safety of their loved ones. 63 new COVID-19 cases, 25 recoveries. Jamaica has recorded 63 new cases of COVID-19 and 25 patient recoveries in the last 24 hours. The new cases consist of 30 males and 33 females, with ages ranging from 7 months to 87 years. The country's total confirmed COVID-19 cases now stand at 10,151, of which 4,343 are active. Of the new cases, 20 are from Kingston and St. Andrew, 15 are from St. James, 7 are from Hanover, 5 are from St. Anne, 4 each are from Clarendon and Westmoreland, 3 are from Trelawney, 2 each are from Manchester and St. Catherine, and 1 is from St. Mary. The ministry said 2 of the cases were locally transmitted and the other 61 are under investigation. Meanwhile, the ministry said 25 patients have recovered from the virus, bringing the country's total recoveries to 5,432. 1 death was also reported under investigation. The country's death toll since the outbreak stands at 235. TMC says no to removing Falmouths fountain. The Trelawney Municipal Corporation, TMC, has rejected a recommendation by Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Horace Chang for the removal of the fountain in Water Square, Falmouth, where a statue is to be mounted to immortalize track and field icon Usain Bolt in the parish of his birth. Speaking against the background of poor maintenance of fountains across the island, which is undermining the aesthetics of many towns, Chang had called for the removal of the fountain in Falmouth. No fountain in Jamaica is properly maintained. They have, in the main, been receptacles of garbage and bathrooms for people of unsound mind, said Chang, in calling for the removal of the fountain. At Thursday's monthly meeting of the TMC, Falmouth Mayor Colin Gager said the fountain, which has been an integral part of the landscape of the Georgian town dating back more than 100 years, will remain that way. The fountain will not be removed. It will be modernized to fit into the Georgian architecture of the town, but not removed, declared Gager, who thinks the fountain fits perfectly into the town's 1996 designation as a national monument. Like the mayor and other stakeholders who have been batting for the fountain to stay in place and intact, Trelawney Custos Paul Mushet thinks it would be a big mistake to remove the fountain based on its historical significance to the town. There is too much relevant history surrounding the fountain. It should be refurbished and the replica of the water wheel, which was part of the original fountain, be once again placed at the top, said Mushet. They can adjust the recent landscaping to install the statue rather than destroy the town's history with the removal of the fountain. The Custos is also recommending that a storyboard be erected in proximity to the fountain, detailing its colorful history dating back to when the reservoir, which made way for the fountain, got its water directly from the Marthabury River, another of the parish's attraction. Last week, businessman Dennis Sivright, a former president of the Trelawney Chamber of Commerce, made it clear that he is totally against any initiative which will involve removing the fountain. I'm totally opposed to that, removing the fountain. I want to see both monuments, the fountain and the Bolt statue, said Sivright. That fountain is a part of our heritage and should stay right where it is. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.